We're going to check 7.2, guys. Okay? When you go over the x-axis, tell me what happens to your figure when you're flipping it, reflecting it across the x-axis. What stays the same? The x's stay the same, don't they? And the y is the opposite sign. You flip the sign. Check those. If you missed one, just circle it. You have to go back and fix it later. We don't have time to wait for you. Okay? So, you're going to, this is in quadrant 1, and when you go over the x-axis, what coordinate is it going to, what quadrant is it going to end up in? 4. It's going to start in 1, end up in 4. I'm not going to draw it. I know you drew it right. Okay? B, when you go over the y-axis, what stays the same? The y stay the same. And the x's change, flip signs, don't they? Now, you can't use that rule on the next two. They won't work. So, you start with quadrant 1. When you go over the y, you're going to end up in quadrant 2. Correct? Okay, look at C. The first time I did this, I missed it. But how did I know I missed it? What did I do to know I missed it? Yes, you're right. How did it not look right? How did I know I missed it? The line M, I turned it and I went, oh, that's not a mirror image. Okay, here's one thing we've got to work on this semester, other than getting prepared, is checking our work. Some of us, our goal is to just finish. If I take my car across there to Cumberville Automotive and I want them to rotate the tires, that means they take them off. They have to do the lug nuts, right? What if I get somebody that doesn't believe in checking their work and they don't make sure all the lug nuts are tight? What's going to happen? My tire, they're going to fall off and I might have a wreck. Okay? No, you would have a wreck. Yes. Okay? Yes. Be serious. So, guys, you've got to start learning how to check your work. Some of you are good about checking, and sometimes you check and you think, oh, I'm right, and that's fine. And you're not going to get everything right all the time. That's just not going to happen. Okay? But there's going to be times where you've got to check and you can see, oh, that's not right. Like when I did that, it was hard. But when I looked at it and went, oh, that's not a mirror image. And some of you just finished it and went on. You didn't check to see if it was a flip, if it looked exactly, like a mirror image. Okay? Those that got it right, I told you yesterday. So how did you start? Hayden, you had yours right, didn't you? This one? Okay. All right. How'd you start it?
Okay, so I wrote the triangle.
Yes.
I turn it at the angle.
Yes. Like.
And then I basically.
What did you start with? You have to start with something. What did you start with?
I started with the triangle.
No. After you did the triangle, what did you start with?
You started with R.
There you go. That's what I started with. Some people started with P. I started with R also. How did you start with R? What did you do?
I looked at the line and I saw that it was one square. So then I put one square to the left and I put R.
R prime. Fix this. Fix it with us. On this, I want you to fix. Fix. R prime right there. Okay. Now, okay, who else got it right? Who knows they got it right? Kristen, what did you do next?
I got Q.
How'd you do Q?
I got it, 6 for
Okay. Okay. Willie, did you do something different? Okay. You know what I did? I said R to Q is 3 units, so I got to put Q prime 3 units away from R prime. That's what I did. I said, well, that goes 3, so that's got to go 3. Because I wasn't quite sure about how to do the diagonals. I was afraid I'd mess up. Okay, and then I know that R to P is 4, so I went up 4 to get P prime. That's all I did. After I missed it the first time. And then look, is that a mirror image? Guys, some of you did not check it because you had a triangle sitting right here. You went across the y-axis. It wasn't a mirror image across line M. You've got to learn to look and try to figure out if you're right or wrong. Okay? All right, D, y equals -2. And so you can't use the coordinates, can you, to do this? But tell me what A prime. What'd you get for A prime? B prime? Good. And C prime? Good. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, before I go on, I want to do something. What if I need to graph 2, 3.5? How do I do that? There you go. Does everybody see what we did? Everybody listen. 2, 3.5. I'm going to go over 2, up 3.5. How would, if I was translating, I'm just going back. Go ahead. If I'm translating this and I want to move it 3 to the right, how do I do that? Over 3. And what if I want to go down 1? Down 1. You go to the next half. There you go. So over 3, and if I'm going to go down 1, I got to go half of the next one. Does that make sense? You sure? Everybody gets that? Okay, good deal. All right, in your spiral, page 13, write translations, reflections. Translations, reflections. In your spiral. Okay, do we all have it written on 13? It's looking pretty bad. I need to redo that, don't I? Okay, let's look at our notes. We're going to fold it and put it on page 13 when we get done. We're not going to cut anything. When translating figures on a coordinate grid, blank the figures. What was our elementary word? Slide. Yes. Thank you. Okay, you're going to slide the figures. Okay, we did not talk about this yesterday, but this is about a 4th grade skill, what we're about to do. Okay, the figures in each corresponding angle and blank will remain blank. So, when I translate this, you guys told me that they stayed congruent, and somebody said, or several people said, it's same shape, same size, same shape. What on here gives it its shape? What determines the shape of that triangle? No. What determines no, it's not. If it's not on a grid, if it's anywhere, what determines the shape of that? What determines the shape of this? What determines the shape of that? No, what determines the shape of it? Oh, guys, this doesn't even have any points. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes. The what? The angles. The angles determine its shape. The shape it is. It's the angles that determine its shape. Okay? So, this angle, when I move it, if this angle is 90 degrees, if A is 90 degrees, A prime is going to be 90 degrees. It corresponds. Those are corresponding angles. They match up. If B is 30 degrees, what's B prime going to be? 30. So, put this mark right here. Oh, no, never mind. Stop. You're not looking at, no, stop. Okay, that means those two angles are congruent. If C is 60 degrees, then C prime is going to be 60. Those are corresponding angles. They're the same triangle that we just slid over, so the angles are going to stay congruent. What gives it its size? What determines how big it is? Well, the angles give it its shape. We already decided that. What gives it its size? The edges. What are the edges? What are the edges called? No, the angles are right here. The edges. No. That's A is a vertex. B is a vertex. C is well, they're vertex if it's one vertex. No, the sides. Thank you. Thank you. So the figures and each corresponding angle and side will remain congruent. The sides are what gives it its size. People. Who said it over here? Okay, I couldn't tell if it was Brooke or Madison. Okay. And the orientation will, yay. The direction it's sitting when you translate is just going to stay the same. When I translate 6 to the right and 3 down, which one is the X? Which one's the Y? Going down. Okay? So, X, good, and Y, good. Now we're going to talk about reflections. When reflecting the figures, what do? Flip. When reflecting across the x-axis, the x-coordinate stays the same. Now, this is a little bit tricky, confusing to some people. I hope I can make you understand. The X and Y doesn't mean it's positive. That just means you're starting off with X and Y. X might be negative, Y positive, or vice versa, or both negative. It doesn't matter. But if X stays the same, then X stays the same over here. What did we say what happened to the Y? Flips the sign, doesn't it? So if Y if that's y, then, well, it's not going to be negative necessarily. It's going to be the opposite sign. So if y is 3, then this is going to be negative 3. But if this is negative 3, that's going to be positive 3. You're just going to flip the sign. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that that's going to be positive and negative. Okay. When reflecting across the y-axis, the y-coordinate stays the same. But what happens to the x? You flip the sign. It doesn't mean it's going to be negative. You're going to have the opposite sign. Flip the sign. The figures will remain congruent because you're just flipping it, the same thing, but the orientation will, why will it change? Starts with a D. Starts with the direction it sits. There you go. Okay, fold it, glue it. I glue it like that. Probably have more room. Okay, look at 7.3 as soon as you get that glue. Come on, quickly glue it down. And make sure the cap's on there good. Hey, you don't need a whole bunch of glue. Just a little bit of glue. I don't know if we're going to make it to the end of school. I mean, I have very few glue sticks left. Some people walk out of here with them. That thing was almost full. Well, I don't know. Who would want to steal the lid off of here and the lid off of here? You just want to destroy property. I'm into making property better. That's my goal. Not to make it. There's a glue stick on the floor, Kristen, under your chair. It happened several years ago. Put the cap on there good. Okay, look at 7.3. Guys, at the top of the page, write your name, number, date, period. Name, number, date, period. This is a little bit busy, so I'm going to kind of go over the first page with you. On number 1, look up here. Where it says trace in blue and red, I decided for you not to do that. I didn't take it off just because, but one year I had kids using blue pens, and then they messed up, then it was a mess. So we're not going to trace in blue and red. You're just going to do it with your pencil, sharp pencil. So you're going to put, here is the original figure on here. Here is the original figure. It tells you what to do right here. Then over here's where you put your new coordinates for the image, and you write your rule. 2, same thing. Here's where you put your figure. It tells you what to do, coordinates, rule. 3, here's your original figure, but it tells you to do something a little different. And then you go do these two, answer these two things on 3. It moves blank and blank. You're having to tell me what it moves. Instead of me telling you, you're telling me. Then you write the rule. Any questions on that page? Okay. The next 2 pages are pretty clear. I think you can read that well enough. It's not very. Okay. Are there any more questions? I need you to finish this and turn it in. Do not leave here with it. Do not leave here with it. If you're not finished when the bell rings, you go put it up there on the wall. Okay. Yes, you may listen to music. Device is okay. Okay. All right. A mover, get a blinder, and